Taiwan's government supported me to do an internship for 3 months, and I kid you not, they actually pay quite well, especially for someone coming from a developing country like me. Today, I'll be sharing everything that you need to know, from how to apply for the program to the fine details such as the daily life and the cost of living there. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, because when I first applied for the program last year, it was so difficult to find relevant information because the program is relatively new and not a lot of people are sharing their experience online. So I hope that this video can serve as an ultimate guide to walk you through the whole process. Also, make sure to watch until the end of the video because I'll be sharing a personal tip that can significantly increase your chances of securing an internship spot. Now, what is IIPP? IIPP is the International Internship Pilot Program. It is funded by Taiwan's National Science and Technology Council, or NSTC, to attract international research talents to Taiwan. Basically, the program functions as a matchmaking platform between principal investigators, or PIs, and students. PIs from universities across Taiwan can showcase their research projects and internship opportunities, while students from around the world can browse through these opportunities and apply to work as interns under these projects. IIPP allows students to intern in Taiwan for a maximum of 90 days, which is 3 months, and all selected interns will receive a daily subsistence of 1000 NTD, which is approximately 30 USD or 120 ringgit per day. During the internship, interns will engage in research and learning activities aligned with the project, and that's basically the gist of it. So who can join this program? Let me break it down for you. First, you must be a foreign national, meaning you're not originally from Taiwan. Anyone from mainland China, Hong Kong, or Macau are also not eligible as well. This also includes students studying in those locations regardless of your nationality. So for everyone else, it doesn't matter which part of the world you're from, feel free to apply. There's no age limitation for this internship program. However, you need to be an active student, meaning you are currently enrolled as a student either for bachelor's, master's, or PhD in any overseas universities not in Taiwan. You only need to make sure that you finish this internship before you officially graduate from your university. You can even do it during your semester breaks, which I think is probably the best time to go since you don't have to apply for a gap year to delay or defer your studies. Before I look into the application process, let's first look at the timeline. At the time of recording, the only available internship intakes you can still apply for are the November and December 2026 intakes. However, there are some important limits. First, your internship must start no later than December 2026, and it must also finish before the end of February 2027. Your internship period must be at least 28 days and it can be up to a maximum of 90 days. For me, I did my IIPP internship starting from 1st December last year up to the last day of February this year, totaling up to 90 days. So if you want to get a similar experience, the applications are already open, so you can start searching for internship projects right now. The important thing is that you must be successfully accepted and complete the whole matchmaking process before the 15th of July 2026. So depending on when you're watching this, you may actually have less than 2 months to complete everything. Now let's walk through the application process. It is quite a long one, so do bear with me. One thing to note is that the application needs to be done on the IIPP platform itself, so you cannot just send an email to request for a spot in the internship. It all has to go through the IIPP system. So step 1 is to register and set up your profile. So the first thing that you need to do is to create an account on the IIPP platform and complete your profile. Beyond the usual personal details, there are a few key things that you need to further prepare. For example, a 1-minute self-introduction video, an autobiography, a short paragraph on your research background and interests, your university enrollment certificate, and also 1 recommendation letter. After that, the IIPP office will confirm your eligibility for the program and inform you through email if your account was successfully verified. Step 2 is the matchmaking process. Once your profile is activated, that's when the fun begins. You'll enter the matchmaking stage, and yes, it's not that different from Tinder. You've got 2 individuals, one being the principal investigator or PI, the other being you. So both sides are trying to find someone whose research interests align with each other and can work well together. It is a two-way process, so the PIs can be sending you invites and you can also apply to their positions. That said, you should be reaching out proactively to improve your chances at getting a spot. Don't just sit back and wait. But there's also a catch that you can only submit a maximum of 20 applications. So you also can't go around spamming every PI on the platform. You have to be very strategic and targeted. Once you've got a PI who's interested, you'll need to discuss and communicate with each other, and this can be done off the platform through email or through phone calls. You should be discussing important details such as the research scope, the internship period, the day-to-day expectations, and also anything else relevant. And this is to make sure that you're both on the same page before things get official. After both sides reach an agreement, the PI will send you a formal invitation through the platform. When you receive this email, you can go to the job matching menu on the platform and accept your invitation there. The next step is primarily for the PIs and IIPP office. After you have accepted the formal invitation, PIs will need to upload a consent form to the IIPP platform, and IIPP office will then conduct a secondary review of your application. Since this process is not done by you, it is still a good practice for you to be in close contact with your PI to make sure that your application is being processed properly. This is because the consent form must be sent to IIPP before 15th of July, and if your PI does not send it in time, it means that you won't be able to join the program. If you pass this secondary review, the IIPP office will then issue you a few documents for the next steps. However, if your application is not approved, don't be discouraged because you can still apply to any other PIs or projects. Upon approval, IIPP will then send you an email called the acceptance letter. It is also sometimes known as an admission notice on their website. The email body of the acceptance letter itself functions as a document that you will need later on, but we'll get to that later. From the email, IIPP will attach 3 different documents, which is the agreement form, the health declaration form, and also the undertaking document. You need to fill in all 3 documents and upload them back to the IIPP platform within 1 week receiving your email. This confirms your acceptance and intent to participate in the program. Once you submitted all 3 documents within the deadline, congratulations, because now you're officially in the program. And at this point, there's nothing much for you to do except to wait. The next step is on the National Science and Technology Council's end, and they'll need to issue an NSTC approval document. And I know, what? Another document? Yeah, bear with me. This NSTC approval document is an important document that NSTC issues out to institutions to let them know that you're attending this program. You'll also be needing this NSTC approval document for your visa applications later on. The tricky part is that it's not directly sent to you, and it's not even sent to your PI. As I mentioned, it is issued directly to the institutions that you're applying for, so to get your hands on this document, you'll need to proactively reach out to your PI to help you retrieve it from the school admins. As for the timing, November interns can expect it around mid-September, while December interns will be around mid-October. To be safe, you can always email IIPP to ask whether or not NSTC has already issued this document to the foreign embassies and your institutions, but you won't be getting this document directly from IIPP themselves. Once you have your NSTC approval letter, it's time to start your pre-travel preparations. This includes your visa, accommodation, flights, eSIM, cash, insurance, etc. The IIPP does provide you a handbook on some of this info, so I will only be going through them very briefly here. First off, the most important one, visa application. The specific documents that you will need to submit might vary depending on your country and the embassy requirements, so I'll just be listing down some of the documents that were submitted by me back then. This includes a completed visa application form, an acceptance letter, the NSTC approval document that we mentioned, a proof of student status, a copy of your passport, passport photos with a white background, your flight tickets, bank statements, and also your original passport as well. The visa application form is an online form that you'll need to fill out through this website that I'll link down below. And the process is quite simple. You just need to follow the steps provided on the website, complete the form, and then print it out afterwards. For the acceptance letter, you can simply print out the acceptance letter email that you receive from IIPP. You need to print out the email body and not the attachments. For Malaysians, the office that you'll need to submit your documents is in Menara Yayasan Tun Razak. And if I remember correctly, it's on the 7th floor. Now, one important tip is you must go in the morning. Don't make the same mistakes I did, because the first time I went there to submit my documents, I went in the afternoon because I saw on Google Maps that it says it opens until 5:30. I got there at 2 p.m. and I thought I was still early with plenty of time left. But apparently, applications and document submissions can only be done in the mornings. So I ended up making a wasted trip there and had to come back the next day. These are things no one tells you about, and how I wish someone would have already made a guide like this earlier back then. Next, let's talk about accommodation. I believe your first move should be to coordinate with your PI, because they might already have arrangements or recommendations for where the previous interns have stayed before. Alternatively, you can also contact the university directly, because in the handbook itself from IIPP, they should already have provided you with dormitory contacts and information in it. Staying on campus in the dormitories are usually the most convenient and cost-effective option, but if neither of those work out, you can always look for accommodation off campus independently. The rest of the preparations are mostly based on your personal preference, such as the flights, the travel insurance, and other miscellaneous expenses. What I'll be sharing here is simply how much I personally spent on some of these items, so you can use it as a rough reference when planning your own budget. Now, keep in mind that your actual expenses may vary depending on several factors, like the season that you're traveling in, how early you're booking your flights, and also the location of your university. I'll be sharing prices in Ringgit Malaysia as the primary reference, with new Taiwan dollars alongside for comparison. My visa cost me 225 ringgit, while for my flight tickets, I bought a round trip which cost around 900 ringgit. Insurance, I went with Etika at the lowest package, which cost me around 180 ringgit. Before going to Taiwan, I prepared roughly 20,000 new Taiwan dollars in cash just to cover my rent and expenses for the first month. This is very important because your first stipend payment will only be issued within 30 working days after you start your internship, so don't expect the money to arrive immediately. One thing worth noting is that the stipend is paid out to you in cash, so you don't really need to open a Taiwanese bank account. Generally, I also feel that Taiwan uses much more cash than e-wallets or digital transactions, so you can always bring more cash just to be safe, especially if you need to pay for any huge costs upfront, such as rental deposits. I did not have to pay for that, so 20,000 new Taiwan dollars worked well for me. After arriving there, I bought my eSIM when I touched down at the airport, and I got it from the Chonghua Telecom kiosk there for around 2,200 new Taiwan dollars, which came with unlimited data for up to 90 days. Another thing that you should get ASAP when you're there is an Easy card, or they call it a UU card, that you can get from convenience stores like 7-Eleven or Family Mart. It's basically Taiwan's transportation card, and it can be used for MRTs, buses, or even convenience stores and some restaurants as well. A bit more on the financial side of things, rental prices really depend on which area you're living in and also whether you're staying in campus or not. For me, I was living off campus in Taichung, and my rental was around 8 to 9k new Taiwan dollars per month, including utilities. Food expenses also depend heavily on your lifestyle. For me personally, I'm a pretty frugal person and I don't go to fancy places for food. So for each meal, the price is actually quite comparable to Malaysia, where eating a simple meal at hawker stalls might cost you around 100 to 120 new Taiwan dollars, which is around 15 ringgit. And a meal at an average restaurant in Taichung would cost around 150 to 200 new Taiwan dollars, which is 25 to 30 ringgit. Transportation costs are also relatively affordable thanks to Taiwan's public transport system. If you mainly use the MRTs and buses, your monthly transport spending can stay quite low unless you travel frequently between cities using the high-speed rail or trains. Overall, I would say Taiwan is fairly manageable financially with the given stipend of 30,000 new Taiwan dollars per month. Now onto the working part of the internship, because ultimately you're not there for vacation, right? There's still work to do. Personally, I arrived like 2 days earlier before my internship officially starts, just to get familiar with the surroundings and also settle in. Before we get into the day-to-day of the internship, let's first talk about the formal or official obligations under the IIPP program. The main requirement is the monthly report that you have to submit to the IIPP platform, which is usually due on the 21st of every month. The report itself is actually quite straightforward. You just need to mainly write about your overall experience during the month, the work or research that you've been doing, your progress and achievements, and your plans and expectations for the next months. You can also attach any supporting materials such as manuscripts, your presentation slides, or any research results. Basically anything that's relevant that you've completed during the internship. Beyond the monthly report, the actual day-to-day workload really depends on your PI and the project. In general, your role as an intern is to follow your PI's guidance and carry out the tasks assigned to you. And that can be anything from conducting experiments, reading papers, data analysis, writing reports, or even attending meetings or assisting with any ongoing research projects. The workload can vary significantly from one person to another. So before accepting any offer, I definitely recommend you communicating clearly with your supervisor about the project scope, the expected workload, and also the working style to avoid any surprises later on. You might also be asking, what if I don't speak Mandarin? Can I still work under this program? Well, short answer is yes. While Mandarin is the primary language used in Taiwan, in a university research setting, I think you'll definitely be able to get by, as most PIs in academia should be comfortable enough communicating in English. The hurdle may come outside of university, when you're out eating, shopping, and whatnot. But honestly, I think this shouldn't be a concern for most people, as they do generally learn English, and you probably just need to slow down your speech if necessary because of the different accents. I shared more about my experience and reflections over these 3 months I spent there in Taiwan in the previous video, so do check it out if you're interested. I just want to highlight that when I did my internship last year, I was completely alone and had difficult times figuring things out because there was no established community to ask any questions. I also didn't get to meet anyone else from the same program during my time there, and honestly, I think that that's something I really felt was missing from the experience. So to help all of you who are planning to go there in the future, I've created a Discord server and set up a dedicated channel for IIPP internship discussions. I'll be putting important links, document templates, and also any relevant info there, but I think more importantly, you'll be able to ask questions and also connect with others who are also planning to go there as well. Hopefully, you won't have to go through the whole program alone like I did. But beyond the IIPP internship discussions, my Discord server is also a space for like-minded people who want to grow, whether it's professionally, personally, or even academically. I'll be sharing post-grad or career opportunities that I come across, and also some other useful updates regularly. Honestly, it's still quite new, but I do have upcoming plans for it, so come say hi. I'll put the link to the Discord down in the description below. Now, before I end the video, I did promise that I will share a tip that could significantly increase your chances at getting a spot for this internship. Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Since I've finished my internship with one of the PIs there, I may be able to put in a good word and introduce you to him directly. Sort of like a referral. But of course, I can't be introducing anyone to him, so if you're genuinely interested and motivated, come talk to me through email or Discord, and I'll try to see if we can work anything out. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything. I know it's quite a long one, but I hope this video was helpful. I'm not sponsored in any way, so if you found it useful, please do help me like and subscribe so that more people can find this video. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. Come find me on Discord. Good luck with your applications, and I'll see you in the next video.